we're going to do about an hour long presentation. About 45 minutes of that will be Scott presenting, and then we'll do some question and answer at the end here. If there's not as much to visit on at the end, we can dismiss a little early. Speaking of questions and answers, please submit any questions for this. Send them to Steve's email address, steve.barine@lpl.com. We'll keep an eye on that and field them either if they're certainly topical as Scott's talking, field them as we go, or we'll just kind of compile them up and I'll facilitate the Q&A at the end with Scott. So any other housekeeping items? We'll bring Scott in here, and Scott, I'll turn your video on if you don't mind, or you can.
Okay, you hear me?
There you are, Scott. We're good.
Got it. Okay, and it looks like some more people are coming into the room, so I'll admit them as I see those pop up on the top of the screen. I'm really pleased with how many people are at this class. I teach a lot of classes to some senior centers and other financial companies, but this is the biggest turnout I've had in a long time. And you guys were all on time. That rarely happens in Zoom meetings. People just stroll in at the end. I'll give you an introduction, but before I do that, Steve or somebody sent you a handout, okay? Or some kind of link to this. I would print that out. You could read through it on the screen, but one of the biggest comments when I teach a class is that I talk too fast. And that is true. And I am speaking slowly now, and it sometimes will get faster. So as I'm talking, I'm following my list right here, okay? So if you don't have to write down everything I say, you could just write it on the piece of paper, okay? It's a 2-sheet piece of paper, got it? So while we're talking, you could be looking for that. You can print it out just to help you guys kind of with the flow. So I'll tell you again that I'm Scott. I've been doing this for 40 years. I started, they were talking about an Apple II or an Apple computer earlier. I saw the second generation of Apple. The first generation was made out of wood. It's in the Smithsonian. They made a computer out of wood, and it's got screws on the side and disk drive. It's really kind of cool. But back in high school, we started with Apple computers and mainframes and things like that. So I've been continuing this ever since. We have a shop over here near Hampton and I-25, right near the Piccolo's restaurant. There used to be a Signal Graphics right here, just south of the Bagel Deli. That's kind of a popular restaurant in this part of town, Hampton and I-25 and Monaco. And we have a shop here where we repair computers. We have a showroom of half-price computers, and then we do a lot of remote stuff with people. So we have over 11,000 clients. Okay, that's a lot of clients. And we have to do I like teaching classes like this because this educates our clients so they know what to do and what not to do. We've got some Facebook things out there and things like that that help people throughout this confusing technology world. But I like to do classes like this. Plus, there's nothing broken right now. Of course, we've only been going for 4 minutes, but I think nothing's going to go wrong technologically during this Zoom meeting. Okay, we got about 45 minutes, and then we'll open it up. Like he mentioned, you can email your questions, and then they'll open that up. But first, Steve asked me if I could teach a class on cybersecurity, and when you hear that word, you think of the big companies, right? I was going to say US West, but what's it called now? Quest, CenturyLink, that those kind of companies and people hacking in and scammers and stuff like that. But cybersecurity affects homeowners just as much, if not more. It's easier to get money from a homeowner than it is a company. A lot of people could do it. I'm going to go through so many ways right now. And this does affect your finances. We have about 1 or 2 people per day come into our office who have been scammed. 1 or 2 per day, where what they have to do is change all their credit cards, change all their passwords, contact their bank. Sometimes they have to get a new checking account. They have to bring in their computer. We have to clear their computer off of any viruses and spyware that's still left on there. But that's how prevalent it is. Once or twice a day, well, one of our clients gets scammed. One time we had a client who complained about one of my technicians because he wasn't stressed out enough. That when she told him she was broken into and all these people got into her computer, that he wasn't as stressed as she was. And we had to explain to her, ma'am, hopefully this will happen to you once in your lifetime and it'll never happen again. We see this every day. So I'm going to go through all the stuff. I tell people if they just listen to all the classes I teach, you'd never have to hire me to help you fix something, because you're going to know exactly what to do and how not to get in trouble. Okay, so we're going to go over things on this list. Pretty much the first section, you're just going to see me, my happy face, and then we're going to switch it so you can see my screen. Okay, so you're not going to have to be squinting or anything like that too much, but I'm just going to talk during the first section. The first part's pretty easy, is that just like it was 40 years ago, you're going to get phone calls from a mailing list and someone's going to tell you something on the phone that you have to do. And I'm sure a lot of you have that problem right now, more often with landlines, the kind with the wire, through Comcast or CenturyLink, rather than your cell phone. It's usually more on landlines. It's really easy to do that. You have a computer that just dials every phone number in the United States and says the exact same thing and waits for you to get hooked into it. So you have to be clear with some of these things. The IRS doesn't call you. They don't even pick up the phone when you call them. They won't call you. UPS is not going to call you. Amazon, Microsoft, Apple don't call you. Okay, they will say that, but they don't usually instigate a conversation. You have to be apprised of some things like a foreign accent, nothing to do with people from other countries, but people from other countries are cheaper in labor. Like you could pay them $3 to $5 a day at the most. They're going to do these cold calling. They're going to get some sucker who pays them $1,000. So most of these places are done overseas where there's a stronger accent. Okay, so that's the first thing that should trigger that something's going on there. Other things like you haven't won a prize or the lottery. If you think about this logically, people in hindsight understand how they got messed up and into this predicament, but they don't think of it ahead of time. You're not going to win a prize or a lottery if you haven't entered a prize or a lottery, right? So why would they call you too? That's also, Colorado Lottery, they don't call you. If you won the Colorado Lottery, they're not going to find your phone number in the phone book somehow from a ticket and call you on the telephone. So you got to think it through that you have not won the lottery. They do have a lot of robocalls. They'll say, hi, your car warranty is expiring. We have a great opportunity for you here and here. Now, normally people hang up at the beginning of the phone call. Just hang up. If you wait to the end, you could usually push a button that takes you off the mailing list. So it's actually against the law in the United States to do cold calling or solicitations if you've been told that you don't want it done. Okay, so anything from the United States will have a button at the end, or press 9 if you don't want to hear this offer anymore. They'll say that. There's a website, which I have on your piece of paper. There's 2 of them. You have to actually sign up with those websites to not get phone calls. And I would do this today after you're done with this class. Do it with your phone numbers, your cell phone numbers, and your kids' phone numbers. Put anybody's phone numbers in there, and it says do not call. And if your name's on this list, anybody in the United States, it's against the law to call you. Okay, and they still will call because it's hard to get to them, but the legitimate ones will not call people on this list. We usually have 2 lists that I put on this sheet. There's the Colorado no call, which is just in Colorado, and the national do not call list from the government, and they don't talk to each other. You have to put your name and phone numbers into each one so they stop calling you. And then if somebody does call you, you could report them to those people. In fact, one time a solicitor called me and I said, hey, I'm on the Colorado do not call list. I'm surprised you're calling me. They apologized immediately. They said, we are so sorry. We didn't mean to call you. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Whoop. They hung up on me because they know the penalty for calling somebody who's on that list. Okay, so that's something you can just do with those phone calls. Let me go down to the next section on the list, because this is more prevalent, is emails and all the scam emails that you get every day, okay, and the way that you can fall for them. Again, you're not going to get emails from these people. Like Microsoft, the company who built the software on the computer you're probably on right now, does not know your phone number, okay? So why would they call you? And chances are they don't know your email address. So why would they email you? So think that through when somebody's giving you a call. But I'm going to do something now. I'm going to switch over to my screen or my desktop. Okay, and I have a whole folder here with subfolders called spyware emails. I'm going to really go through these with you. Take about 15 minutes to go a lot through these because you guys will get these every day. People think they get a lot of spam email, but it's really about 300 emails per day are sent to your email address. Okay, 300 per day. Comcast, CenturyLink, and those big companies can filter out spam right away, and they strip them out. So when you're saying, hey, I get 10 a day, and you think that's a lot, you really had 300, and they stripped them out. You also have to check your junk mail folder. Like on my computer here, I check my junk mail every day, and just to make sure, like this one right here, this is from my travel agent, and it's in my, because I'm going to Orlando, and it's sitting in my junk mail folder, right? So you always want to check it because they screen things out that are bad and they screen things out that are good. So you want to get rid of the other ones. Whatever you see that looks crazy like this, you're just going to delete it. Invest in something, no thanks. Whatever this is, no thanks. So I got a legitimate one here, and I'm going to, on my computer, right click and say never block this person. So my travel agent will go to my inbox instead of my junk mail. Okay, we're going to go through a whole bunch of spyware programs. So I want you guys to get close to your screen. I know if some people are on your phone. I don't know how you're going to see it on your phone, but I'm going to get you to recognize an email and not to click on it. Let me go with a really easy one. Let's go backwards because I think this one's hilarious. Good day. Okay, to start with, people don't say good day in the United States. So look for grammatical errors. Okay, good day. Details in attachment. It is not a virus. Just to let you know that I'm sending you a spooky attachment and it's not a virus. Guess what? That's probably a virus, especially if they say that. And people don't put punctuation at the end of their name like right here on the bottom. I got this one. I actually fell for this once because it seemed so kind of weird. It was like, hey, we just want to buy these laptops from you. Okay, and I sell laptops. Why would they buy these from me? Why don't you just go to HP or Apple and buy your own laptop? Because I responded to one of these once asking some question like, okay, just wondering why, why would you buy this from me? And they never responded back. But this seems like such a good thing. There's nowhere to click on, right? But as you respond back to this person, they're going to make you go down a rabbit hole and believe them. And maybe they'll say, hey, you just need to pay us for shipping. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to somehow get your credit card number out of this. Okay, and when you give them a credit card for $10, they're not getting $10 out of that. They're getting your credit card numbers. You got to remember that. So if something like this person on the screen says, hey, we're going to buy all these computers, you just have to sign a waiver or something like that, and it costs $10 to submit it. So would you give us your credit card so we can submit the waiver for liability? I don't know. Don't give anybody your credit card number over the phone unless you for sure know who they are. Okay. I got this one. Hello, customer. We are sending you your Microsoft Surface laptop, right, for $1,600. Well, the weird thing is, I don't know who this is. Ellen. Why is she sending me a why did I purchase a laptop from Ellen? None of this stuff makes any sense. So scammers will make an email address up, do an entire campaign, and then they just cancel the email because you're complaining to this phone number right here. So that's how they're getting you, is clicking that right here. You could look at another typo right here, Andrew Willison. I've never heard that name before, Willison. There's a comma after the word prospect. So you look for things like that that kind of make you a little suspicious that this may not be the truth. Okay. Here's another one. Here, this is a very secure message. Click here. Now let me show you on this one what to do. See how my mouse is hovering over that link. I haven't clicked on the link yet, preview information. But if you're really, what's the right word, impatient, and you go, oh my gosh, what is this? Let me just click here. Bloop. The second you click that, you could have a virus on you could be downloading a virus to your computer. You could be opening yourself up to a lot of bad things. But as I put my mouse over it, that tells you where you're going to go if you clicked on that. Okay, do you see where it says nim.ws? I'm not going to a company. Like, look at the top. It says Progressive Energy Solutions. Okay, I don't know who progressiveenergysolutions.co is or why they're sending me this thing. Don't open it. Don't be curious and just say, well, let me just see what this is. It can't hurt. Don't do that. Here's another one from this company. Okay, it says daily savings. And the reason the pictures aren't here, when they set up scams, they set up a computer for about a month. Like a computer, it could be in somebody's apartment or somebody's basement, and that computer is running this scam. So by this time, this email came back in 2021. So that computer is no longer there. And the photos that were on that computer are no longer there. But see how I put my mouse over it? And it says where it's going to go to. Well, logically, wouldn't it be Daily Savings Finder? Well, here's the name of the company, which is weird. Prostate E. Isn't that funny? And I put the mouse over it. If I clicked on this, it would go to prostatee.us. And while I was waiting for you guys to come in, I went to just see what happened, prostatee.us. Okay, I would not do this at home. Don't do this at home. And when I go there, my browser, Google has a really good thing where they know what's kind of websites are bad. And they actually, what is happening here? Oh, this is trying to install a virus on my computer as I'm talking to you. This thing called extension. See way up here in the corner, you could add these things that make your computer a little better. A lot of you may have ad block. It keeps some of the ads off your screen. This is called Lastpass, which helps you keep track of your passwords, and Grammarly, so you done speak better when you type them letters. So I put these on there for my computer, but this is trying to add a false one. It says the word Chrome right there, but that doesn't mean it's from Chrome. It's coming from this website, which is now directing to Privacy Anywhere. The point is, if I would have followed, that was a prostate, if I would have followed this and clicked on it, I would have been on that website and gotten a virus right away. Okay, so you want to hover over things, just like I am here. See where it says prostate E? And be careful of where you click. Here's another big section. I'm doing this in order of importance of what I think you guys are going to see. People will get these a lot. You don't have enough space in your email. You have to buy more space. You are up to 98% space. Most every email company, you will never get to barely 10% of your email used up. 98% is virtually unheard of that you would have that many emails. We're talking 200,000 emails. You'd probably be up to 98%. But it says Office, so people think, oh, this must be legitimate. It says Office. Okay, but if you put your mouse on things and you look at what I'm hovering over, look, it says on-site consulting, but you're looking at the word right after that. It says bigboyscarriers.co.za, which I think is Zambia. You'll learn a lot about geography as you put your mouse over things. ZA, I think, is Zambia. Okay, so if you clicked here, you're not going to Office 365 to get more space. You are going to somebody's computer sitting in Zambia. Okay, let's look at another one. I have a Godaddy account. Godaddy is some places that help you with websites. They post your website, make sure it's working right. Okay, it needs to verify my email, which doesn't make any sense because they have my email. They just emailed me. It came from Godaddy, but their address is elecacons.com. If this guy was really Godaddy, it would say Godaddy, not elecacons. And if I put my mouse over there, it says genomax.com.my, which might be Myanmar. I don't know if that's really a thing anymore, but that's where it would go. It should say GoDaddy, right? When you click on the button that says GoDaddy, you go to GoDaddy. Right now it's going somewhere else. And even down here, you've got their official address, 14455 North, and it just stopped mid-sentence, okay? Something's wrong with this email, so watch for those suspicious things. Here's another one saying my webmail is full, and if I click on it, it goes to evolib.com. Your password is going to expire. As far as I know, sorry, I've never seen a place with a password expired. I don't know if I've ever seen a company ever, other than a business, that would say you need to change your password, which businesses do it every 3 months. But on a personal level, they don't force you to change your email address. So I would not do that. Do you see the weird way this thing is spaced out? That thing right there. Can you guys read what it says? It says keep my password. And I think it had an icon in between each one of those spaces or something. So when you get this email, you would go, oh my gosh, I should click here to keep my password. But it goes to a Google page. Now, Google is a legitimate company, but there's so many things that don't make any sense here. Google does not control my hinky.com email. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. You have a message in quarantine. Oh, should I see it? So what they're going to do, well, let me just try it. I'm confident this will, okay. When I clicked on that link right there, review messages, it took me here, and that computer's been shut down, and they found out that was a scammer already. So it didn't go anywhere. But usually when you get here, you're going to click there, and it's going to say you need to log into your email address. So you, let me see if I could show you on another screen here. Hold on. You would get something like this, right? Please verify it's you. We're asking for your email and your password to understand what the email says that you received. But they have just captured your email and password, right? You're not giving your email to Google. Like if you didn't see this word up here, Google, you saw something else. Just because it has a symbol that says Google on it doesn't mean it's going to Google. So if I put this in right now and it was a scammer, they would have my email and my password. And let me show you what bad things happen with that. There's a website that everybody should try, and I do not have this on your paper, so you might want to write it down. It's called Have I Been Pwned? It's a weird word that a computer person thought was cool. Kind of like owned, like I own this restaurant, pwned. So the website, if you can see at the top, Have I Been Pwned, right there. Have I Been Pwned? Just go to that website and type in your email. So I'm going to type in my email. And they're going to find out if you've been, if your password has been stolen in 606 websites, 222 million accounts. It's really cool. This is a legitimate place. So I'm going to hit this button. I'm serious. All you guys should do this after the class. As you scroll down, it's going to say, yeah, your email is on a mailing list from Apollo, whatever that is. And another business list, a spam list from 2017 that was stolen, your email address. A survey, oh man, we just did that. Anyway, they stole my email address and possibly passwords if I made an account with them. But keep scrolling down because these are the interesting ones. Evite. You know how long Evite's been around? You go to a party and then they send you an Evite, you RSVP to it. That database was broken into in 2019. And what was stolen was your email address and your password for Evite. I know it's not the password for your bank, but it's a password for Evite. And raise your hand if everybody's password is the same. The same thing is for your bank and your credit cards and your Evite and your LinkedIn and your Facebook, right? Everybody has the same passwords. So knowing that your Evite password is stolen, is that the same as all your other ones? This is a really cool site that I signed up with once. It tells you really cool things for your house that you can't afford. And right there, my email address and my password for that. And look at these two. LinkedIn. In 2012, LinkedIn was broken into, and they had 164 million passwords and emails exposed. So if I have LinkedIn, that password was stolen. And if my password was Broncos, 123, and they're going to try that password on your bank and your credit cards. Okay. So if this password that you had for this company is a common one, you need to change that right away. But here's something interesting in the dates. It was 2012 when they were broken into, and 164 million were exposed. But they told everybody in 2016. You know why? If I was the computer guy at LinkedIn, I would not tell anybody this thing happened, because I am going to get fired before the end of the day, that I wasn't secure with our network and things weren't working right. So it took 4 years for LinkedIn to even tell people that their passwords were stolen. And look, it happened again in 2021. Why? Because the computer guy didn't tell anybody the first time. So that one has email, but it didn't have any passwords. That's interesting. I just got a notice of this. This was just like a month ago. MGM Resorts, if you ever go to Las Vegas and you play the slot machines, which I did once, and I got a free hat because I signed up for their MGM Reward Club. They lost my email address and, oh, no passwords. So that's okay. This is one that probably everybody has on their phone, Zynga. Zynga is the name of the company that makes Word with Friends and like 20 other games that you play on your phone. You had to sign up with an account when you first got them. There's your email address and there's your password. So whatever you had for Zynga is out there in the world. 173 million passwords. So when you guys have a chance, have I been pwned? No question mark. And just type in your email. This is not you're not giving anybody your passwords here. You're just putting in your email address. Like I have another one. I would try all your passwords. Oh, look, that was stolen too. Evite, because I must have used that a long time ago, but that's the only one. Okay, let's go back to the emails. We talked about messages. Reminder, you have emails to check from RO, Romania. Okay. And it's very generic. It doesn't say your name, doesn't say your email on here. But when you click on that, it's going to go to PNE USA Auto Center. That's the computer. Let's just click it. I'll click on it. Yeah, and see the site shut down because that site was 2019. There's another email one. Okay, and you'll see things where, let's see if I can find one, where the name of the company is misspelled a little bit. We'll get to that in a second. Let's look at some of these. PayPal. Okay. Did you order something from PayPal? No. Then don't click on anything and don't call that phone number. That's what they're going to do. They're going to say, oh, thank you for calling. We're just getting ready to cancel your order, whatever. Somehow they're going to gear you towards, tell us your PayPal username and password. And then they will have your username and password in PayPal. PayPal is like a little checking account thing, which is also owned by eBay. So there's money in there. If you have a PayPal account and you give them your password, they're going to go in there and they're going to take out your money. I guarantee that's the whole point of this scam. Okay, here I have a bill payment to PayPal for $378. If this doesn't look right, click. Oh, here's an attachment. Let's look at that. There's an attachment. You want to call this number and they'll straighten it out for you. Again, it's a scam. Here's something about bankruptcy. Sometimes the shorter ones pull people in more because it's like, whatever, let me just click here, bloop, and you're in there. I have Chase Bank. Okay, my bank is Chase. If you have Chase, you should already notice some weird things. Like there's no logo anywhere. Chase US alert. Why doesn't it just say Chase alert, right? Chase alert. You have a new alert message. New alert message. So if I were to click on here, it would go to that site, Crimea Health. This is a computer that was in Crimea. I would be giving them my Chase email and password, right like that. And they can go into your account and do whatever. So be careful with that. There's another GoDaddy. I've already got one of those. Here's another Chase. Oh, look, this one's got the logo. So it must be true, right? Because it's got the Chase logo. But look, if you did click on it, it would go to arimulmule.com. It should go to Chase, right? It's funny how they highlighted the word verify. I don't know why. Hi, verify your Chase. Why did they highlight that word like that? I don't know. May, month of fraud prevention. That's not a complete sentence. May, fraud protection month. That's what they meant to say, right? Because these are written for people whose first language may not be English. You got the word note, which is not capitalized, and the word failure, which is. Interesting. Okay, if I started here, airmule.com. Blockchain, everybody's talking about blockchain and what do they call it? Bitcoin and things like that. Oh, this looks official. There's a logo. Oh, they want to pay me though, 1.28 Bitcoin. That's like $5,000. I'm going to click here so I can get it, right? What harm would I have in getting money? So this will lead you down a path where it says, sure, we're going to give you 1.2 billion, whatever. You just got to give us your Chase number so we could deposit it to your Chase account. Remember, the longer you're on the phone with somebody, the more you're going to believe that that person is telling you the truth. I had a guy once that had a screen like this. Hey, I got this Bank of America thing. It said I had to verify something. And I kept clicking through and I verified my account and stuff like that. He said, but I don't have Bank of America. I said, why did you click on it? Well, I thought maybe they were confused. Okay, how can Bank of America, I mean, how could your Chase Bank be confused and call itself Bank of America, right? Just think things through before you go, let me just click here. You got to think this through. So that guy said, I don't really have to like change my accounts or anything, do I? I said, yes, you need to go home today and change every one of your accounts. You gave somebody else your banking information. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they're going to do, but it's not a good thing. Here's a PDF. I get these, you know, HelloSign is just like DocuSign. It's a different company, but if you click here, it's a virus. Okay, that's simple. Here's another Chase. The logos are gone. PayPal. Let's see if I could find one. HUD Disclosure. Oh, I sold my house a year ago. Maybe I need to read this HUD Disclosure from Tahir at Commercial Title. Okay, if you sold your house, they're not going to send you a closing document a year after you closed your house. I don't know who Tahir is. There's no phone number, and it's got this attachment. And when it says HTM, that's actually going to a website. See above where it goes to SharePoint, layout, all that stuff. So be careful with that. Wells Fargo, iTunes. Let's go to some other things. Facebook does this too. For some reason, ABC News is emailing me, but they're emailing me from Kakistan, KZ. I think it's Kazakhstan. That's where ABC News is now located. LinkedIn. Oh, I want to transfer you some money. Yeah, I'm not trying to get money from you. I'm just trying to transfer it to you. So click right here and we'll get going. And I've done this before. See when I hovered over it, it says Kirkland Family Homes in AU, which is, I'm pretty sure Australia, not Austria, but whatever. I've called that company before. And I said, hey, just to let you know, I live in the United States. You've got a scam running on your computer in your building. And they think I'm a scammer because I make, who would do this? I said, no, I'm not a scammer. Just call your IT people and tell them to check your server. You are running a scam out of your company basement because these companies don't even realize that that's happening. So here's a voicemail. If I click here, I'll get a voicemail, but really it's a virus. Let me show you another very big one. Here it is. Norton and McAfee are the biggest ones that people recognize their name in the United States. Okay, they're antivirus programs. They are not the best antivirus programs, by the way. First hint is best is lowercase and buy is uppercase. Isn't that interesting? And if you click here, look, it's $2,000 for Norton. Norton only costs about $90 at the most. And we're going to give it to you for $1,800. Okay. And you just have to go through this. They want you to click there. They're going to tell you something. You know what? I'll give you the lifetime version for $100. And you're going to see, wow, this is a bargain. You're going to give me a lifetime version of Norton, but you've given them your credit card. Okay. And Norton 2, I'm trying to find, here it is. Nowadays, places like Comcast and CenturyLink are scanning their all the emails for things that look bad. Like a Chase logo has to come from a Chase address. They're putting that into the system. So Comcast is going to filter it out before you get it. So they didn't put a Norton logo, and that is not the word Norton. It's N0RT0N, right? So that's going to get through the spam filter because it doesn't say Norton. It's got some spaces in there. Here's called Nort Pro. There's no such thing as Nort Pro, by the way. So be very careful with all these things. See if there's anything else weird. I do get called on this a lot. Okay, let me show you this. This is an email sent to me back in 2018. That right there at the top used to be my password. I am showing you the password that I have changed everywhere in my life. My password used to be Penguin with the M at the end. Okay. So people think, oh my gosh, how can they know that? That is my password. So they must be, this email must be true. I have to do this. I'm looking through your webcam when you don't know it. You need to transfer $700 to our Bitcoin. Okay. And I've had people call me on this before, like, how did they do that? How did they get to my camera? I said, it's fake. They've got my password. You know where they got your password? From the site I showed you earlier. Have I been pwned? Those passwords are out there. I guarantee you that's the password I used for Words with Friends 15 years ago. So people think, oh my gosh, this is true. I've got to do this. One of them said, we know what you're doing. We're going to call your boss and turn you in for looking at pictures during the workday. Okay, and he calls me, how is this happening? And I explained. He goes, but I'm unemployed. I don't have a boss. I said, see, this explains what I'm saying. It's a fraud. They're just sending this to everybody in the United States. Okay. Okay, so I've shown you the emails. The most important thing in the world you need to know, like, is to hover over the document, hover over the link. Hover means don't click on it. So if I was to click on this DocuSign, it would go to x.co. That is not anybody legitimate. Okay, that's the most important thing I have to say about what I just talked about. Let's see. I'm going to go up and down the list here. We did that. Oh, Craigslist. We've only got a little bit of time, but I just want to make sure you know this. Selling things on Craigslist is okay. If you have a bicycle or you got a swing set in your backyard or something like that, you could sell it on Craigslist. If you hold on a second. If you buy things, you're at more of a risk. So this is a big scam. If somebody wants to rent one of the rooms in your house, or you're looking for a roommate and they want to pay you money. Oh, I'll pay you $800 to be a roommate. It's a great deal in Denver's economy. And then they send you a check for $1,800. Okay. And they call you back and say, oh man, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Why didn't you just send me back $800? You keep the $200 extra. So you think you're making out, right? You think you're making more money off of this. Plus you got the lady's rent. She's going to be your roommate, whatever. And it turns out it's a complete scam. The first check bounces to you. Your check goes through. So you've given somebody else money. Be careful of that on Craigslist. Another one is, let's say you want to buy an RV, okay? And there's an RV that you want that's $40,000 and you want to go buy that and they're selling it for $10,000. Okay, so what a great deal is to go out to do this, but you got to go meet them at their house, which is in Bennett, Colorado, which is, there's no cell phone service and it's behind a tree, a whole bunch of trees. If you're going to go look at this RV, you're probably going by yourself with $10,000 in your pocket. Okay. And they're going to know when you're behind that tree, there's no cell phone service and you have $10,000 and they could steal your money. They could steal your money. Okay. So you want to be extra cautious as a buyer more than a seller. So that's Craigslist. Let me flip my screen over again. I know we don't have too much time, but if you go to certain websites, I'm in Google right now. I'm going to put HP laptop repair. Okay. Sometimes HP shows up at the top, but look at this one down here, HP support Denver. Well, that sounds like it's a really good thing. These are not HP, you know. These people pay to be at the top of the list right there. And I went to HP support. Look, that's HP technical support. A guy who lives in West Denver in his house. But he paid, and he may be a legitimate company. I'm not saying he's not, but he's running it out of his house. So you think you're talking to HP, but you're not. Okay. So, and as you go down, they've got one here, one's called Service Center Locator. That helps you find an HP service center near you, but that could be someplace that just gears you towards a certain place. A lot of places too, let's go to Yahoo. You have to be careful of the ads on a website. So like right over here, let's find something. Well, not horoscope, but I have my ad blocker on. So I turn off I have an ad blocker. Okay, so now here's an advertisement. They had things before where this advertisement was a virus. Okay, it said Dell computers, click here to get your Dell computer. When you clicked on it, you got a virus. I think Yahoo learned their lesson by scanning for these things, but advertisements can be viruses too. So just don't click on Neutrogena and don't go to their website. Okay. Let me go down a few things because I know we're running out of time. You should change your passwords regularly. For the one thing that I mentioned, have I been pwned, right? And all those that I showed you on there. All of these are out in the world. Your password for Evite from 2019. You should go ahead and change your passwords, usually every year or two. I know it's super difficult to change all your passwords. I actually hired my teenage daughter and I said, here, I'm going to pay you to change all my passwords. And it took her a couple months because she changed it for Evite and LinkedIn and Facebook and this and this and this. It's a long process. And you always want to have something, some kind of pattern. So let me just show you this real quick. Let's just say your favorite word in the world is Broncos. Okay, that's your password, which ironically is a lot of people's passwords in Denver. You should go like this. Okay, so put some zeros in there. You know, Broncos is a word in the dictionary, and scammers can try a word in the, they could try every word in the dictionary in about an hour into a website. So Broncos like that is not in there. And you could put a couple of numbers behind it, like shift 123 is what I just did, or just an exclamation point, or number sign, or whatever. Now what I do is I add a letter behind it for what website I'm on right now. Okay, so if I was here and I'm on eBay, my password is that. If I'm on Chase Bank, it's that. If it's at LPL, it's that. That's an L, or you can put LPL, right? But that way you have 26 different passwords. Okay, please do not have a word in the dictionary, please, please. Add some numbers and symbols in there, and that's your password. That's what you're going to remember for the rest of the year. It's still Broncos, but you got some other stuff in there. And then you put the letter of the website that you're in front of, like it could be 1 for First Bank, or C for Comcast. Okay, so that's how you can remember a lot of different passwords without having to remember a lot of stuff. And I do use this thing up here called Lastpass. It's a way you can store all your passwords. It's very secure. They have one master password that lets you into all the other passwords. You got to make that really long. Mine is 20 letters long. You can make a sentence, like you could say, I hate passwords. Oops, hate passwords and Comcast. I mean, you can make a password that has a whole sentence in it, and that's usually better than just one. Okay, let me go through my list. Make sure to check things out. This is the last couple things I'm going to say. Is that one time there was a place, you went to Google, and you put, I need a hotel in Heathrow. Heathrow, I don't know how to spell it, something like that, right? And somebody had made a fake hotel in Heathrow, and they got it to the top of the Google list. Okay, so it could be called the Heathrow International Airport Hotel. And when you clicked on it, you went to a website, saw a bunch of pictures, you got to pick your room, you got a discount code, you paid some money, and what you had actually done is given somebody all of your credit card information. There was no hotel there. It was just a fake hotel with pictures in it, and somebody said, yeah, let me just book it. And they booked it. Okay, but millions and millions of people gave, not millions, but they gave away millions of dollars by getting those people's credit cards. So be careful on that. Okay, 3 last things that aren't really to do with computer security. Let me let you see my beautiful face. But I think they're really important that you guys know. One of them, you should restart your computer every single week, regardless of what you think is happening with your computer, okay? So I'm gonna show you on a Windows computer how to restart it, because some people just don't get it. This is the button, the start button on your computer. You know, you pop it up, and on Mac, it's up here in the upper left-hand corner. But here, you're gonna click this button. Sorry, let me get my accounting out of there. And you're gonna click on that, and you're gonna go to restart. I know it seems pretty simple, but some people think closing their laptop screen is turning off your computer, and it's not. It's putting it to sleep. Some people think going to sleep is turning off your computer. It's not. It's just putting it in a low power mode. Restart helps all your files and your updates get done properly. So you have to go to restart once a week. Okay? People say, okay, well, I'll just go to shutdown. Nope, nope, nope. I told you to go to restart. Restart actually applies some things that shutdown doesn't. Okay, so remember that. But please, we have people who don't start their computer, don't restart it for years. I don't understand how that happens, but they never, ever, ever restart the computer, and it gets all botched up. You also want to have something called some kind of backup on your computer. Okay, you can get a flash drive. Flash drives are little things about this big, a little thing, and you put it in your computer and you save all your files to it. Those are only like $10. Okay, you can get an external drive. Those are $60, and you can back up to that. I use a program called Carbonite. Let me share my screen real quick. Carbonite's a paid program. Okay, so right here, Carbonite Backup. It's $87 a year. And I have 141,857 files backed up. That's a lot of files. I don't even know what they all are. But Carbonite, you push the button, it backs up everything on your computer. And this is shared with some other computers in our office. Look, 14 seconds ago, it backed this up. My whole company was backed up. So this is what you want to do, an automatic backup if you don't want to be bothered with this. You don't want to think about backing up. You pay $87 a year and we'll do it for you. Last thing I got to tell you, and this is the most important thing I could ever say. So if anybody's asleep right now, please wake up, is don't let people remote into your computer. Absolutely nobody on the planet should remote into your computer unless you personally know them. This means a very limited circle. Your kids, maybe your grandkids, but nobody else. Steve Breen does not want to go remote into your computer. We would never, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, HP is not going to remote into your computer. I've heard that they do have some times they will do that. I'm really surprised, but I would not believe that. Microsoft doesn't remote into your computer. Apple doesn't remote into your computer. They have the weirdest scams out there and people believe it, but don't let them remote in, even if they say it's going to be free. Oh, sir, we're not going to charge you anything. You're going to take my credit card? Nope, not going to even take your credit card, sir. The second they're in your computer, they can put on viruses, they can put on pop-ups, and they will have remote access to your computer until you have somebody take off the program like us or somebody else that knows how to take it off. They will have permanent access to your computer. We had a guy in here this morning that had 3 people remoted into his computer since March. He doesn't even know anything about this. I said, you've got 3 remote programs running right now. Oh, you should just take them off. I said, yes, because I had identity theft last month. I said, yes, you have people remoting into your computer. So don't let anybody remote into your computer. You have seen my face, okay? And we have a service where we could remote in, but I'm not trying to get business off of you guys by using that as the exception. Don't let anybody remote into your computer except for maybe your kids or your grandkids, okay? Because that opens up a humongous can of worms. You have to have us remove all the viruses and spyware off your computer. You've got to change your credit card, your bank statements, and all this other stuff. So please remember that. Now, I know Steve and John may have some questions that have come through. Do you guys have anything? Steve, you're miming. We can't hear you.
There we go.
Yeah, there we are.
We just had to reclaim host and unmute Scott. Thank you so much. This has been awesome. I even picked up a few gems, and I am not a baby boomer. A couple of questions that came in. That have I been pwned website is great. I think you're kind of then what, because I put in my email and I've been pwned and hacked or whatever. Basically, the then what on that is if your email is on one of those lists, go to Evite and change your password. Is that right?
Yes.
I mean, whether they have your email address or not, most important is they get your password. So make sure your passwords are changed, right?
Right.
And if you use that password for Chase, change it there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Let me say one more thing about that. That site is not exhaustive. So just because your email's not on there doesn't mean you're safe. Like Target isn't on there. Remember like 3 or 4 years ago, Target had this big breach in Home Depot. They said, oh my gosh, 14 million, because they thought that 14 million was a lot. Home Depot is 50 million. They're not even on that website. You have to volunteer to give your database of names to that site before it'll show up. And like I said, if I was the IT person, I wouldn't tell anybody. This is going to get me fired. The company's stock's going to shoot down and stuff like that. So that's a small fraction of the companies that have been broken into, I guarantee you. So that's why the policy is just change your password every 1 or 2 years.
And in addition to that website, I know Apple, if you do your save the password on your iPhone so that it just does your face or your fingerprint, if you go into the passwords and settings for Apple, they'll show you, these passwords have been found in other databases, and that's another way to get a list of places that you need to refresh, or Google Chrome or something like that if you save passwords that way.
Yeah, you want to be really possessive with your passwords. I put a little funny icon on the bottom of your piece of paper about not sharing passwords, but even if our company, if we have somebody leave our employment, we change every password in the company. You have to be that paranoid, right? Because you're never sure what that person's going to do. So you just want to keep the passwords really close to your heart.
So speaking of passwords, you use Lastpass, or I know there's 1Password. You recommend those types of aggregating kind of one master passcode where everything is saved inside of that, or the apps that can do that?
Yeah, I do. One, because I can't remember all my passwords, right? And you can share that program with other people. So my wife, if she's at Chick-fil-A and needs the Chick-fil-A password so she can get the extra chicken nuggets at the app or whatever, I could look it up on my phone and find the password that she needs at the store, right? So the whole family only needs one of these things. I have the master password, it's 20 digits long, in my fireproof safe at my house. And my kids know all this stuff, so they can find that password. We've had to break into people's accounts to get to their passwords before, because they've passed away. Like somebody's passed away in the family, we have to get their stuff. And you'll be surprised at how easy it is for finding people's passwords, and it's the same password for everything. But you want to keep the master password safe and extremely long with a lot of symbols in it. And honestly, I have a hard time remembering my master password because it's too long and I've got too many symbols in it. I have to go run home and open up the safe to look at it when I need the master password.
It's funny you mentioned that.
Change that every year too.
We were visiting with someone who lost a spouse, and they can't get into his phone because they don't have his password to get into his phone, and pictures and things like that. It's frustrating. So always make sure at least those that are closest to you know how to get into some of that information if you want them in there, to get some of the at least the pictures of the important things that are in a device.
One of the most valuable things that we have experienced, Marie and I've experienced, is the concept of the patterned password. So like you mentioned today, we've taken one word and we put the first three letters of whatever website we are going to. So if it's Amazon, it's AMA, and then this word and a number, and it's one word and one number with it. And all of a sudden, you don't have to remember all your passwords, you remember the pattern.
Right.
This also works really well with banks. First Bank is very, very careful about passwords, and an easy thing to do there is to use FI, the word, and then put Q2 2022. Mm-hmm. So it's updated. It's updated
every quarter,
and you know what quarter it is. So you've got the initial letters of whatever website, the word, and then the quarter that you're in. That way it continues to be refreshed. Then there's no duplicated passwords. You're remembering a pattern as opposed to just a password. So,
right, you want to keep changing those regularly. And some people have said, what's the big deal if they have my email password? What are they going to do? Check my email? That's not a big deal. But your email is how you can get recovery passwords. Like you can go to Chase and say, I forgot my password, right? And then they get in there. We actually had two stories. I don't want to take too long, but the people didn't just break into their email account, but they read all of their emails. So they knew everything about that person. And one of our clients has a house in Vail, and the criminal was conversing with the property manager, saying, hey, just leave a key underneath the mat so I can get it because I forgot my keys and I'm driving through Vail. And the property manager, these alarms went off. She goes, she wouldn't do that. She would not lose her key. She knows she doesn't have a mat or something like that. And it was a criminal who had gotten into her email but read everything. So she knew everything about this lady so she can act like her.
Another thing I'm not sure everybody's aware of, but the two-factor authentication, signing up for that, more and more companies I've noticed are saying, hey, you've signed in. Do you want to enroll in two-factor authentication, or 2FA for short? Doing that is probably a good thing. You give your phone number so that they can text you and verify a code. It's just one more layer of verifying identity and whatnot as you fill in a password or anything.
Yeah, I highly recommend that. If it recommends it, you should do it.
Right.
And because then somebody would have to steal your email, your password, your phone, and your thumb.
Yep.
Right. I mean, it's like all these things, or your face, to get into your account. So that's makes it almost impossible to get in there.
Right.
The newest version of Account View for our clients has the two-factor authentication, and it works so well.
Mm-hmm. Scott, you spent some time with the hover over the link, right, on your computer, using your cursor that way to see where you're going. A lot of people use their phones to browse and whatnot, or go through emails. Is there any way to see but not go?
Yeah, this has only been recent. I don't know if it does it on all phones or not, and I can't show you on my phone. It's called a long press. If you keep your finger on the link, it'll pop up and tell you where it's going to go.
It's like a preview.
It's like a preview if you keep your finger on the thing, and it'll say something strange. So that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you mentioned companies don't realize they've been penetrated, and their computers are being used by hackers who are then scamming people. So lots of businesses don't realize it. But you have to look real closely at that hover over.
Right.
One last question, Scott. Is there any difference between spyware emails and junk emails, or are they kind of interchangeable?
No, junk emails, they're just trying to sell you stuff. Medical things, or
Junk mail?
Junk mail, trips and stuff like that. They may be legitimate companies that bought that mailing list and send it to you. Spyware emails are specifically trying to get you to get money out of you. They're going to get you to click on something that eventually gives somebody a credit card or some kind of communication like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One last question. Nearly everyone today has a camera. Everyone here on this call has a camera. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts about putting a Post-it over the camera, so that if someone is in your computer, they can tell if you're in your pajamas?
Yeah. Usually, a lot of people do this. It's usually a Band-Aid. We have half of the computers upstairs with Band-Aids over their camera. Okay.
Right. Do you recommend that?
You could do it. It's a little bit paranoid. I don't think it's going to happen. Most cameras will have a little light come on too when it's on. You actually have to really get into somebody's computer to do that.
Yep.
Spyware, I've never seen a spyware program turn your camera on. Okay. They could go around your computer and look at stuff, but I've never ever seen the camera physically come on.
Even though in movies and television, somehow that happens.
Right. There's a lot of things on TV that don't really happen. Let me mention this to you. We've got some camera things. We can give it away to your clients. If you say Prosperion, we've got some camera covers. It's just like a Band-Aid, except you could slide it back and forth to cover your camera. They're like $1. If any of your clients say, I want that free camera thing, because I'm a Prosperion client, just come on by, we'll give you one. If you guys want just a checkup, we'll do that for free. We know that people don't know what's going on. Just like your car, you need to take it in someday to a mechanic who knows what's going on. Please bring it into us. We're not going to charge you anything if you say Prosperion, and we'll help you out with that. Yep. Oh, and then my email is on this sheet of paper at the bottom. If you ever have any questions, you could email me. I'm the one who answers it. Nobody else in the office. We've got 13 employees. Everybody's doing something else. But I'm the one who answers all the emails. So if you have any questions at all about today or anything going forward, you want to send me a piece of junk mail, says, did I really win the lottery? No, you didn't win the lottery.
You want to try to scam Scott? Go ahead. You got his email.
Let's see if you could scam me, man. I did fall for one scam once, but
the link for that document is at the bottom, and it's
the bottom of the last invite, the last email that we had sent out for the Zoom link.
Click here for the download.
Well, thank you, Scott. This has been wonderful. A great hour. Learned a lot. Hopefully, everybody that was able to participate, learned a lot. If you have any questions, Steve and I are very novice in assisting, but Scott obviously is a great expert and a great resource.
Worked with him for a long time. He's very valuable resource.
So thanks, Scott. We'll dismiss everyone. Everybody have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Scott.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Everyone.